Texas's House of Representatives couldn't hold a redistricting vote for a third time this week as some state Democrats chose to head to California instead of the House floor.
We are running from nothing. We see the danger that is coming, and we are running straight for it.
We are trying to defend democracy as opposed to see it destroyed district by district. We are talking about emergency measures to respond to what's happening in Texas, and we will nullify what happens in Texas. We will pick up 5 seats with the consent of the people.
It's not wrong in what we're doing. This is self-defense for our democracy.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filing a lawsuit against state Democrats saying, quote, "These cowards deliberately sabotaged the constitutional process and violated the oath they swore to uphold. I have asked the Supreme Court to declare what has been clear from the beginning, that the runaway members have officially vacated their offices in the Texas House." Here to discuss is the host of My View with Lara Trump. Lara, welcome. We're so happy to have you this morning. Thank you for getting up early to join us here. So tell us your thoughts on this, because as far as I can see, there are a lot more Republicans in Texas anyway, a lot of moving in, and we know a lot of Hispanics are becoming Republicans after they saw what the Democrats did to the U.S. border.
Yeah, it's funny, Rachel, to hear some of those individuals say, we're not running from this. Yes, you are. You have a duty as a House member there in the state to show up and be part of the legislative process, and they are vacating those duties. They are completely distancing themselves from this and not doing the job that their constituents there in Texas, elected them to do. So they're doing the exact thing they say they're not doing. Here's the reality with this situation. This sort of thing has been going on for decades. It happens on both sides of the aisle. The only reason anyone is hearing anything about this is because the Democrats are yet again on the losing side of this issue, just like every single, thing that happened in 2024 in that election. The White House, the Senate, they are also on the losing side of this. So now it's all this political theater. Now they're trying to, get everyone's attention on this, but it was crickets 4 years ago when they did this exact same thing and redrew the entire map of Illinois, much to the Democrats' advantage. When you talk about the fact that this is something that is necessary, it is necessary for a state like Texas right now. It is mid-decade. You see this happen about every 10 years. But Texas has had an influx of nearly 500,000 voters,
That's right.
500,000 residents in the past couple of years. So it is time to redistrict. It is time to redraw those maps. A lot of those people are disaffected Republicans who have moved out of states like New York and like California. So, if they're going to vacate their duties, if they are not going to do the job that people elected them to do, they've been given a warning by the governor, and then they deserve, Rachel, any punishment, I believe, that's coming to them.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's really interesting, too, that President Trump is getting onto the census next. We're going to see some more howling from the left when that happens. But it seems to me that the real story out of this, and I want to move to the next topic, but I think the real story of this is that Republicans are learning to fight like Trump. And that's been very interesting to watch. So I follow your show every Saturday. I think it's so fantastic. And you have a really fascinating interview with that ballerina that was in prison, I think, for almost a year. Her name is Ksenia Karelina. I want to show this clip and then get your reaction on the other side.
Wow. And because you had donated $51.80 to potentially help victims in Ukraine of this war. That was the big problem.
And right away they told that it can come to the criminal charges and I can serve up to lifetime in the prison. So you don't really realize that could be real.
What a fascinating interview. What did you glean from that?
Yeah, this is an amazing young woman, Ksenia. She landed in Russia where, she was born. She is a U.S. citizen. She landed there, Rachel, and she was immediately detained coming off the plane. She went to visit her family there, and they said, you know what, you donated $51.80 to an organization that aided, elderly and children who were affected by the war in Ukraine, and you have committed treason. They gave her a 12-year prison sentence, but as you heard from her there, it could have been a lifetime in prison in Russia. President Trump, once he was inaugurated, Steve Witkoff, they both heard about this and they said, you know what, we're going to work to get her back home. They got her back home, and she talks all about her experience there in a Russian prison and how grateful she is to this president. She says no other president could have been able to do this other than President Donald Trump. So her story is remarkable, and it's amazing that this sort of thing happens today in 2025. It happened in Russia, and there are still political prisoners over there, still people who are being held like Ksenia, who deserve to be released, who deserve to come back to the U.S., and I can guarantee you this president is watching that as well.
Well, he is going to be meeting with Putin this coming week in Alaska. We'll see if that conversation comes up. But you're so right. So many hostages, prisoners around the world who've been released say it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for President Trump. Lara, we look forward to seeing your show tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You got it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.